Hello, welcome back. If you are new to this channel, I'm Sister Charity, and I want to get right into it. You know, I always start with a question. So, my question for you today is, do you have a difficult time loving those who are arrogant, controlling, condescending, disrespectful, those who think they know it all? Well, if you can relate, stay tuned because we're going to talk about it. Some people really are difficult to love, but the fact of the matter is, all of us, at some point in our lives, have had either one or several. We've either been condescending, we've been controlling, we've been disrespectful, arrogant, think we know it all, and the list goes on, making us difficult to love. You know what I don't get now that I'm a little older and more mature and understand what I thought I understood back then is that the same behavior we have, we hate to see it in others. You know, I know people who are just like their parents and they don't like their parents' ways, but they have the same ways, and it's difficult to love a person that displays those character traits that really get under our skin. But the bottom line is we have to make sure we don't have the same character traits, because all of us, next to food and safety, all of us require a sense of belonging, to feel loved. And if you have never had that desire to be loved, then I'm not sure, if you're really human, because every human person has a desire to be loved. Do they always know how to be loving or how to treat people in a way that will manifest love? Not all the time. And that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about this, because I was that unlovable person at some point. And if you look at yourself, there's always been times where, I'll say 99% of us have been unloving, have been difficult, have been boisterous and rude and a negative disposition. All of us have. But that doesn't negate the fact that we want to be loved. And so I know how important it is now that I can look back and see where I was, see how I was judgmental, how I was critical, how I always found fault in people. And as a result of finding fault, looking for fault, first of all, finding fault, is that I made up in my mind that I didn't like that person. And y'all, look, like and love, I'm just going to separate those two right now because we're talking about love. But I'll say like is wanting to hang around a person. Love is unconditional, because we don't love on our own. We are only able to love because of God's Spirit in us. And yes, right now I'm talking to Christians. We are called, we are commanded to love ye one another. It didn't say if they were nice to us. It didn't say if they were loving towards us. No, as God's children, we have a mandate to love ye one another. And so when I was thinking about this and I see so many people still struggling with loving one another, I came across a very familiar passage. And I want to just talk about it real quick. So let's go there. It's John 13:34-35. And so what it basically says is, a new commandment I have given unto you, that you love one another. Now listen, not just love them, but as I have loved you, love one another. So how would you feel if all of the idiosyncrasies that you have, all of the issues that you have, all of the things that didn't honor God that you've done, how would you feel if God said, don't love them, don't want to have nothing to do with them, don't want to give them oxygen, don't want to give them anything because they're not deserving? And He is the only one that could really say that, because He is love. And if you say you belong to Him, if you profess to be a born-again Christian, there's no way you can go without loving your brother or your sister. There's no way you can go without loving your neighbor. Okay? So, looking at this, it says, this is the only way that people will know you are His disciples. It said, by your love one to another. And I want to say this. How do we get to that point where we love one another? Jesus knew that His disciples would have a hard time with this command. So He told them, look, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to send you a helper. I'm going to send you a comforter. I'm going to send you a teacher. I'm going to send you the power to be able to do what God has required. Because when God commands us of something, He gives us the tools and the ability to do it. Now, if we don't have it, then we need to pray for the capacity to do and adhere to what God has commanded us to do, and not let anybody stop us from doing it. Now, as I come to a close, I just want to say that very person that you don't like, okay, could be the very person God is trying to reach. And we have to keep that in the forefront. Now, I'm going to wrap it up right here, okay? But I want you to join me, because I think this is a topic that we definitely need to dive into and talk about some practical applications that we can do, some things we need to think about, because love is a choice. I choose whether or not I want to love you. And so this is huge. It's bigger than just these 12 minutes or whatever. But I want you to come back next week and let's pull the onion back on this emotion called love. Remember, it's a choice. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. God bless.